For decades, naval enthusiasts and historians have returned to a single, mesmerizing question that the reality of World War II left unanswered. It is the ultimate tactical enigma of the dreadnought era. Imagine a clear morning on the open Pacific, far from the reach of aircraft carriers. Two titans emerge over the horizon, closing the distance at 30 knots. On one side, the ultimate expression of Japanese samurai spirit and industrial might, the super-battleship Yamato. On the other, the pinnacle of American engineering, speed, and radar technology, the fast battleship USS Iowa. This was the duel that never happened, a clash of two entirely different philosophies of naval warfare. To understand who would survive this catastrophic encounter, we must look past the simple numbers of armor thickness and gun caliber. We must examine how these ships saw the world, how they fought, and what happened when steel met fire. The Japanese philosophy behind Yamato was born out of mathematical necessity. The Imperial Japanese Navy knew it could never match the industrial output of the United States. Therefore, their strategy relied on quality over sheer quantity. Yamato was designed to be individual perfection, a ship so massive, so heavily armored, and so heavily armed that it could engage multiple enemy battleships simultaneously and destroy them from outside their effective range. The heart of this strategy lay in her main battery. 9 18-1-inch guns, the largest ever mounted on a warship. These monstrous weapons could hurl a 3,000-pound armor-piercing shell over 26 miles. Yamato was a floating fortress, wrapped in a massive armored citadel designed to withstand hits from her own caliber. To the Japanese command, she was invincible, a symbol of the empire that could not be sunk by conventional gunfire. But across the ocean, the United States Navy took a radically different approach with the Iowa class. The Americans did not build the Iowa to be an immovable fortress. They built her to be the ultimate predator of the seas. Under the restrictions of the Panama Canal, which dictated her maximum width, Iowa was designed for unprecedented speed. Powered by massive turbines generating over 200,000 horsepower, she could cut through the waves at 33 knots, making her significantly faster than the 27-knot Yamato. Her main teeth consisted of 9 16-inch 50-caliber guns. While smaller in diameter than Yamato's weapons, these guns fired a highly advanced, super-heavy armor-piercing shell that packed nearly the same destructive kinetic energy. If these two giants closed the distance on a beautiful, clear day, the opening phase of the battle would belong to Yamato. Her spotters, trained to an elite degree in long-range optical reconnaissance, would likely spot the Iowa first. At a distance of 25 miles, Yamato's massive triple turrets would rotate, rise, and unleash a deafening roar, sending the first salvo of 18-inch shells screaming into the sky. In this initial stage, the Japanese relied on their brilliant optics and massive colored dot loads to track where their shells splashed in the ocean. If Yamato could score a lucky hit in these opening minutes, her massive shells could inflict catastrophic structural damage to Iowa's unarmored bow or superstructure, slowing the American ship down and stripping away her greatest advantage. However, as the distance closed to 22 miles, the nature of the duel would shift violently. This is where the true American superpower comes into play, not the thickness of the steel, but the invisible waves of electricity. The USS Iowa was equipped with the Mark 8 fire control radar, a system years ahead of anything the Japanese possessed. While Yamato's gunners were straining their eyes through optical rangefinders, trying to compensate for the glare of the sun and the smoke of their own guns, Iowa's radar was automatically calculating the target's precise distance, speed, and heading with mathematical perfection. Iowa did not need to see Yamato to hit her. Her fire control computer, an analog mechanical marvel, would constantly feed data to the guns, allowing Iowa to fire highly accurate salvos even while executing sharp evasive maneuvers. As the two ships traded blows, the question of armor becomes critical. Yamato's main belt was over 16 inches of specially hardened steel, sloped to increase its effectiveness. Iowa's guns would struggle to penetrate this central citadel at extreme ranges. However, Iowa used an internal armor belt design. While her outer skin was relatively thin, the vital organs of the ship were protected inside a heavily armored box. This meant Yamato's shells would easily penetrate Iowa's outer hull, causing massive fires and destroying secondary systems. But the core engines and magazines would likely remain intact. Furthermore, Yamato had a critical design flaw. The joint between her upper and lower armor belts was a known weak point. A heavy American shell striking this specific area could cause massive internal flooding, listing the ship and making it impossible to aim her main guns. Speed and tactical flexibility would ultimately dictate the climax of this battle. At 33 knots, the captain of the Iowa controls the engagement. If the battle goes poorly, Iowa can simply turn away and open the distance, leaving the slower Yamato behind. If Iowa chooses to press the attack, she can use her superior speed to cross Yamato's T, maneuvering into a position where all 9 of her own guns can fire, while Yamato can only bring her forward turrets to bear. As the minutes tick by, the relentless, rapid fire from Iowa's radar-guided guns would begin to take a devastating toll. Even if the American 16-inch shells do not instantly penetrate Yamato's thickest armor, the sheer volume of high-explosive and armor-piercing hits would systematically destroy Yamato's command structures. Her exposed optical rangefinders would be shattered, her radio antennas torn away, and her unarmored superstructure turned into a raging inferno. Blinded, unable to communicate, and struggling to steer, the Japanese giant would find it increasingly difficult to return effective fire. In the final analysis of this legendary hypothetical clash, we see a battle between brute force and technological supremacy. Yamato was the ultimate triumph of the old world, a magnificent, terrifying monument to raw size and optical gunnery. But Iowa was a weapon of the modern world, combining devastating firepower with the unmatched precision of radar and superior tactical mobility. While Yamato possessed the power to sink Iowa with a few well-placed shots, the American battleship possessed the tools to ensure those shots rarely found their mark, while delivering a calculated, relentless rain of steel in return. The duel between Yamato and Iowa remains a beautiful dream of naval history, a testament to an era when the rulers of the ocean were made of iron, and the fate of empires rested on a single thunderous salvo.